From Orlando, Florida and Universal Studios, this is the World Skating League. A marquee matchup tonight, the Florida Sundogs against the California Quakes. Welcome everyone to Roller Jam Arena. I'm Ken Resnick along with Lee Rehrman, and I said it's marquee time in the WSL because it's the Florida Sundogs and the California Quakes. The California Quakes, the most emotional team in all the WSL, but Lee Rehrman, emotion could be a danger if you're not up for the game. Many times the Quakes have run into trouble.
Absolutely. These guys are mercurial. We never know what we're going to get. Sometimes Sean Atkinson, the boys and the girls, come to play. They play clean. They play as a team. They play great. Other times they show up. The bod squad seems to be in disarray. They play like a bunch of folks who I don't even think they know each other, then they don't play so well. On the other side of the coin, we got methodical. We got the emotional with the Quakes. We've got methodical with the Florida Sundogs. They play clean. They play fair, and they don't play with flair, and they always come to play the same way every time, Ken.
And certainly the Sundogs should be on an emotional high today to balance out the California Quakes because they are getting the lightning-fast return of Debbie Rice. Rice, one of the fastest jammers in all the WSL. And also, we're certainly buoyed today because we have with us one of the all-time legends of roller derby history, the great Buddy Atkinson Jr. And Buddy, will be looking forward to your great insight.
Thanks, Ken, and we will be giving you some new plays and some looks into them.
And we look forward to that at halftime. A lot of underlying currents still with the Florida Sundogs. One hawk, the immigration status of Posse and Suzanne Chalene.
Well, absolutely, Ken. We get so caught up in making fun of Mark D'Amato of the New York Enforcers, who started this whole thing.
You make fun of him, never me.
Well, I'm not going to tell him. I'm going to tell him you started it. But, we like to tease about Mark D'Amato talking about his civic duty. Sometimes we forget that there's two human beings in the Chalenes that are very important to the Sundogs.
And also one underlying current going throughout the WSL, the possibility of a budding romance between Sean Atkinson and Denise Loden. The music means only one thing: the California Quakes are ready for the track.
Well, as we mentioned at the outset, Ken, these Quakes are Jekyll and Hyde, and there is the king of the Jekyll and the Hyde, Sean Atkinson, and there is the bod squad. I don't know what we're going to get, Ken. We'll see here pretty soon.
You see Jamie Konomak, Stacy Blitch, and Cindy Zimmerman going around, and there is the enigma, Captain Sean Atkinson. Chalene, you've got to wonder what's going through his mind. His wife, Suzanne, Mark D'Amato trying to get them deported now. Starting for the Florida Sundogs, Suzanne Chalene, Denise Loden, Andrea Franklin, Debbie Rice, and Lindsey Francis. And for the California Quakes, two of the bod squatters, Jamie Konomak and Stacy Blitch, along with speedster Amy Craig, Faith Urban, and Brooke Sunderman. And looking on, watching this game very intently, are the New York Enforcers. There you see Captain Mark D'Amato, Tim Washington, and John Morrissey. Now the gals gather at the starting line, the racehorse start, and right away you see Stacy Blitch with the elbow to Denise Loden. Keep a sharp eye on that. But it's Jamie Konomak breaking out for the California Quakes, being pursued by Suzanne Chalene and the speedster Amy Craig as they come around, still trying to break out. And now finally is Debbie Rice. The elbow from Suzanne Chalene, physical play, drops Jamie Konomak. A bit of a surprise as they come around, and now Amy Craig returns the favor. It's the speedster Amy Craig, and coming up from behind is Debbie Rice trying to close the gap. Craig slowing down, and there you see Debbie Rice coming into the picture. Rice goes around high on the curve. Craig tries for a headlock, elbow to elbow. Both skaters doing a good job of staying on their feet as they come around, approaching the pack. Debbie Rice is able to drop Amy Craig. A perfect opportunity for Rice as they come around, closing. Stacy Blitch trying to block out. Rice with 10 seconds left, still unable to get by, but Denise Loden blows Stacy Blitch to the track. Andrea Franklin reaches back for the whip, trying to get by Faith Urban, and there you see the speed of Debbie Rice coming around, picking up 2 big points.
And she's back from injury, Ken. She's making a statement here that, look, I am Debbie Rice, and I'm going to show you guys how it's done. We saw the finesse right there. We also are seeing some uncharacteristic physical play here by both teams here today, Ken.
2-0 at the end of the first jam. A very good start for the Florida Sundogs. Now remember, after the first jam of every period in the WSL, the jammers are at the back and trying to work their way through. Heather Sunderman receives a big elbow and goes down. Denise Loden at the front clearing house, dropping another of the Quakes. You see Andrea Franklin taking it. It's a double and atomic whip using the leg. Denise Loden started it out. Andrea Franklin with the leg, and an atomic whip springs Kathy Evangelo free. You see Evangelo, the only jammer out.
And Kathy Evangelo was a skater that was really called upon with the injury of Debbie Rice. Now that she's back, they may have two big guns in their arsenal, Ken.
Many times that a skater uses the advantage. Kathy Evangelo, good point on getting more jamming time. You see Andrea Franklin now trying to pull down Brooke Sunderman. She does that, and Kathy Evangelo very quickly goes by. Now she closes in on the rest of the pack. This is Heather Sunderman. Remember, Sunderman never lapped the pack. She is basically a blocker. Drops Evangelo down. Kathy smartly cuts it off and puts 2 more points on the board. 4-0 Sundogs. We'll be back with more right after this. We are back 4-0 Florida. It's certainly the California Quakes. Florida right now pitching a shutout. The Quakes need to get a point on the board, and they come around. It's Jamie Konomak coming out right at the front, battling Andrea Franklin. Konomak and Franklin breaking out. And Konomak, one of the bod squatters, had little luck in the first jam. This is her second time out. Andrea Franklin, very good blocking. Sprung Kathy Evangelo free on the last jam for 4 points for Florida.
Well, and Ken, both these teams are playing very physical today. This is almost like two New York Enforcer teams in an inter-squad scrimmage. You saw Amy Craig earlier. You saw Andrea Franklin. The whole team is playing physical. They're setting the stage early here, Ken. It could be a long day for everyone if this kind of physical play keeps up.
Now you see Andrea Franklin, who after drop down, alertly decided to stay back and block, using her size, hopefully to prevent Konomak from coming around. And now it's Lindsey Francis. Oh, Francis, talk about missing a block. Konomak, a great sidestep, finally getting the Quakes on the board. It's now 4-1, and it's Konomak celebrates.
Well, that's the kind of thing that physical play sets up. Jamie Konomak playing physical. All of a sudden, bait and switch. Number 33, Lindsey Francis, just buys it into the side of the track.
Well, let's see if the Quakes can build on the offense. Konomak finally got generating, getting a point on the board. Sometimes that first point in the WSL is the toughest to get. Now Heather Sunderman breaks free. You see Stacy Blitz reaching back, gives her the whip and springs her free. And now also breaking out is Cindy Zimmerman, number 36, and that's Kathy Evangelo, number 34 for the Florida Sundogs, who lead this one by a score of 4-1. Both the Quakes doing a good job of trying to block out Evangelo, and now they come around the curve, and a double elbow drops Evangelo. Some good teamwork by Heather Sunderman and Cindy Zimmerman. A great opportunity for California to build on that point Konomak finally got. You see Heather Sunderman and Zimmerman alertly trying to draft Heather Sunderman as they come around.
Well, Heather Sunderman, if this game stays physical like this, Ken, she's playing well right now, but if it stays physical, she doesn't like a physical game. She will really suffer in that kind of environment.
You see Andrea Franklin and Lindsey Francis trying to set up a double block. It worked so far. Now Stacy Blitz trying to drop back, calls out a playmaker. Stacy Blitz is able to go by, break up the double block. Zimmerman goes inside, Sunderman goes outside. They each pick up a point, and suddenly it's 4-3. Lindsey Francis a little upset with the play of Stacy Blitz.
Well, Stacy Blitz sure does respond to physical play. You saw that right there, as number 33 Lindsey Francis was the benefactor of a big shot from Stacy Blitz.
Now, and there, Denise Loden and Stacy Blitz going at it. Denise Loden not about to back down from anyone. And finally, referee Sean Corbin is able to get in and break it up. Loden probably a little unhappy about it.
And Rusty Montgomery, Ken. Rusty Montgomery goes after Denise Loden. It's no secret he does not like this relationship with Sean Atkinson.
And now Atkinson a little upset at Rusty Montgomery going after Denise Loden. There may be some smoke and fire to this relationship between Loden and Sean Atkinson. So far, they've both denied it, but based on their actions we're seeing here on the track, it would appear this is, in fact, something. You see Denise Loden is coming around. Will Atkinson put his team first, or perhaps Denise Loden? Now some great strategy by the Sundogs. They put the jammer helmet on Debbie Rice, the speedster. California had been building some momentum. Rice, of course, the fastest of the Florida Sundogs, and that's who they turn to. You see Debbie Rice going high, bulleting around the high outside turn as she comes around. California now unable to get anybody out. Debbie Rice certainly closing on the pack very, very quickly, using her speed as they come around.
Well, I'd really look for Debbie Rice to make a statement here today, Ken. She's been out with injuries. She's been plagued by injuries the last several weeks, and she wants to get out and show everyone that she's back to play and that the layoff hasn't hurt her dramatically.
You see Debbie Rice earlier running down Amy Craig, and now she slowed down a little bit, gained some momentum, gets a whip from Gina Lombardo, another whip from Kathy Evangelo. The California Quakes try to pull away, but Rice's speed has already picked up one, and there's still time. Debbie Rice very quickly. Now another of the Quakes go down, and she's able to go by two, but the big elbow from Stacy Blitch prevents her from getting any more than 2 points. But a great, great job. The pull away by the California Quakes didn't quite work owing to the tremendous speed. And there you see Loden and Blitz going at it once again.
And Ken, these two didn't need an excuse to get it going, but they're starting early today, and it's because Stacy Blitz feels especially vulnerable to this rumor about the romance between Sean Atkinson and Denise Loden. And while tempers are cooled down, let's go to Roller Rules.
Roller Rules, brought to you by Dial 1-800-8.
My skates, think again. Brian Gallagher and Eric Slopey were out on a jam in this game between the Rustlers and the Quakes. When they got to the pack collapsed, and they had to go airborne. How many points would you give him? When Gallagher jumps the pack, he lands on the track, but Slopey lands on the infield. It's illegal for a jammer to pass on the infield. That means Gallagher gets 4 points, and Slopey gets a donut. Now you know the rule.
We'll be back with the men right after this. Welcome back, everyone. The Florida Sundogs have doubled up the California Quakes, leading this one 6-3. Debbie Rice scoring 4 of the 6 Sundog points. Hawks, she answered the question. She's back.
Well, if anybody questioned that Debbie Rice was going to come to play today, she threw out a big exclamation point. I am Debbie Rice. Hear me roar. She came to play, and she even had enough stamina to take a big shot from Stacy Blitch, Ken.
And starting for the California Quakes, of course, Captain Sean Atkinson, along with the big blocker Rusty Montgomery, Chad Vaughn, and probably jamming Eric Slopey and Anthony Santiago. For the Florida Sundogs, it will be Sean Marshall, David Gleddy, Jonathan Russell, Captain America Bill Barker, and Posse Chalene. And keep a close eye on Posse Chalene. We are going to find out very quickly what kind of state of mind he is in as he has got the jammer helmet and he breaks out. There you see that wide hockey style of skating as he battles Eric Slopey as they come around. Very physical. The hammer puts Slopey down, and it's all Posse Chalene coming around. He may answer the pundits very quickly as to whether he is focused on this game or his immigration problems. They come around, and very quickly, as you see Mark D'Amato with the American flag, that is certainly a stretch. Chad Vaughn back to block. Now David Gleddy comes back along with Montgomery. Posse Chalene talks some strategy with Gleddy, tries to move past Vaughn, is unable to do so. And now a double sandwich by his teammate. Posse Chalene takes the inside, very quickly picks up another point, and he passes Montgomery and cuts it off the jam. But while he was doing that, Anthony Santiago snuck up and picked up 1 point. But Chalene answered a lot of questions.
Well, in Posse Chalene, we saw the physical play early by the women. Ken, we're seeing it for the men as well. And Posse Chalene, you hit it on the head, wants to make a statement here early today.
You saw him be congratulated by his wife, Suzanne. I would have well imagined she was wondering how Posse would take it, but he took it very well, scoring 2 points, making it 8-4 Florida. Now, as they come around, this is a Flame, Sam the Flame Martin out, along with number 20 for the California Quakes. That's Gary Lockamy out of Daytona Beach. Lockamy 5'11", 180. Sam Martin out of Panama City, Florida, 5'8", but only 145. But Martin plays a very physical, tough game for his size. As you see right there, he puts down the much larger Lockamy. The fans certainly love it.
And you can't say enough about Sam Martin. If you remember, it seems like 1,000 years ago, little Richard Brown was a mainstay here with the Sundogs. Sam Martin has really picked up with the loss of Richard Brown, Ken.
And you see Atkinson with the elbow to Sam Martin. Atkinson using great rotation, starting off at the front of the pack and works his way back as once the Jammers get free. Sam Martin never blocks down. Now, Atkinson tries to put him in the Bulldog, but very quick, alert play, ruling by Sean Corbin in the Bulldog. Sam Martin got his Jammer helmet out in front, and Martin credited with a point, making it 9-4.
And Sam Martin won't back down. You saw the roller rules. We were showing the skyscraper by Sean Atkinson, and Sean Atkinson wasn't done with Sam Martin as he takes Bill Parker into the fence, Ken.
Atkinson, we have talked about the enigma he is. You never know what he'll do, and sometimes it damages. But there you see the Bulldog. Watch the referee very closely, and you saw Sam Martin begin to slide by, which is why Sean Corbin awarded Sam Martin the point, making it 9-4. But boy, talk about taking one for the team. Now you see number 14, Rusty Montgomery, reach back and give the whip to Eric Slopey, the white pony.
Oh, there it is.
Santiago and Slopey both out. The low rider being pursued. This is number 11, Jonathan Russell, trying to get by as both the Quakes go down. And what an opportunity, Russell and Posse Chalene, as they break free and come around.
Well, and I can't say enough, Ken, about how this Quakes celebratory attitude cost them. You saw the white pony and the low rider cost them right there. They distracted themselves, and the Sundogs were able to break out 2 Jammers.
Now remember, the WSL, both Jammers, once they lap the pack, could score, and that's what they're trying to do right now. As Sean Marshall, a double whip, one upside, one downside, and both Chalene and Russell go by, passing 2 Quakes each. What a great jam for Florida. 4 big points as they move out in front, 13-4. Oh, the Sundogs are on fire.
And we're seeing great teamwork by the Sundogs, Ken. Posse Chalene seems to have put the immigration issues aside. Sean Marshall, a blocker we don't talk about much, is getting into the act. Great job, Florida Sundogs.
California better get something going. They are in danger of letting Florida run away with this one. Early in the second period, they have tripled up and more of the score, 13-4. Now you see Mark James trying to break out for the California Quakes, along with, once again, this is Sam the Flame Martin. And both James and Martin go down. Smart move by Sam Martin with a 13-4 lead. You can go into a defensive set, and that's exactly what Martin did. And now coming around, it's Tom Smith out of Syracuse, New York, 5'6", 140. Being pursued by one of the Quakes as they come around. This is Gary Lockamy, Daytona Beach, Florida, 5'11", 180. And it's Smith and Lockamy as they come around, and Smith puts Lockamy down with a big elbow. Florida now content more on just not letting California score. And with that kind of lead, it's a very smart strategy to take. Atkinson, and now Bill Barker goes in the elbow, trying to pick up Atkinson. Sean Atkinson doing a good job of blocking out Tom Smith. Puts him into the rail, and now Atkinson goes for a chokehold.
Well, and Tom Smith has always been in the shadow of number 10, which is Sam Martin, because they look a lot alike, but he's an underrated guy, Ken. You saw him take down Lockamy. He was no match physically, though, there for the size of Sean Atkinson. We saw Sean Atkinson take it to the Flame in the jam before. Right there, you see the result of him taking it to Tom Smith.
We're coming down to the end of the first half. Only 1 minute, and California really needs to get something going. And boy, they've got exactly what they needed right now. As both Eric Slopey and Anthony Santiago break out. Jonathan Russell trying to do something, but it's the young guns, the speedsters for the California Quakes right now. Russell doing a good job of slowing them up, but he can't bring them down. Tries to grab a hold, and down goes Russell, and now it's Eric Slopey, the white pony, and very quickly Santiago, the first one to get to his feet. You see a smart move by Slopey. He slows down enough, trying to get his compadre to give it time to catch up. No showing off now by Santiago and Slopey. They realize they desperately need some points. With looking at the clock, this will in all probability be the last jam. It's 13-4, and what a great move, a double block set up. Tremendous teamwork by Vaughn, Montgomery, and Atkinson with a block out. Santiago and Slopey each picking up 4 points, and suddenly the Quakes are right back in it.
Well, and Ken, we always talk about the Quakes being Jekyll and Hyde. We saw a couple of jams ago, Santiago and Slopey did the low rider and did the white pony. Right here, no celebration, score the points. Quakes right back in it, and Sean Atkinson celebrates with the crowd.
13-12, and now the Quakes will be buoyed by this offensive show right at the end of the half. It is 13-12. We'll be back with halftime. Everyone to Roller Jam Arena. I'm Ken Resnick along with Lee Rareman. It's halftime, and halftime of a suddenly close one. It had all the markings of a blowout, but right at the end, the California Quakes came up big. Now, we talked at the beginning about the Florida Sundogs, their ideology. They play a controlled game. very, very much teamwork oriented, and the first half absolutely epitomized that for the Sundogs, as Hawk, no less than 5 jammers scored for Florida.
Well, the 5 jammers scored, and there was 2 big question marks we had coming into this game. One was Debbie Rice for the women's Sundogs, and the other was Posse Shalene for the men's Sundogs. Well, Debbie Rice answered all those questions with a great performance and an exclamation point for she is back. And then Posse Shalene, immigration issues aside, the cloud hanging over the Sundog team, the Shalene family, and of course Posse Shalene, he had a great second period. 2 players, 2 great jobs for the Florida Sundogs.
And on the side of the California Quakes, we talked about how they live and die on an emotional roller coaster. It looked like the emotion today was completely absent from California until the very last jam of the second period, when they came up with 8 big points. Now with us is, of course, roller derby legend Buddy Atkinson Jr. Buddy, on your telestrator, take us through that final 8-point jam, which really put the Quakes right back in the thick of things.
This was a giant play, 5 men involved. Great jamming happening right here. Good blocking in the rear. And here's the element that I love. We got these 2 gentlemen, Vaughn and Montgomery, taking down or setting up to take down 4 opposing players. This is great. Now we've got a stop block here by Atkinson. You've got the 2 jammers moving in. Here's Slopey, and here's Santiago moving down to the inside. Russell is going to get knocked on his butt. And this is where it really happens. Beautifully done, executed. We've got the 2 jammers clear. You've got a jump here. You've got another jump starting right over here that went over the top. This guy comes over, and you've got 8 big points. 5 men doing the job that they're supposed to do together, and they did it.
Now, Buddy, as you showed us, we talked so many times, it happened so fast on the track, but the timing and teamwork of that play was almost unbelievable. If Chad Vaughn and Rusty Montgomery, one, had not only worked their lead blocks in tandem, and if Sean Atkinson had not had his stop block, if any of the 3 had been out of sync, it would have telegraphed the play, but the timing was absolutely perfect.
It was perfect as right.
Now, we talk so much about speed in the WSL. Certainly, Hawk, when we talk about speed, a lot of women come to mind.
Well, I'm glad you let Buddy talk about the men, because something I love to talk about is speed, and you know how much I love to talk about the women of the World Skating League. And right now, we're going to take a look up close and personal at much of the speed in the World Skating League.
I am the fastest woman in the World Skating League.
I am the fastest woman in the World Skating League.
I am the fastest woman in the World Skating League.
The WSL, there are 2 types of jammers, the quick and the dead. And when it comes to speed, no one comes close to Heather Gunnan, Debbie Rice, and Amy Craig. They are the speed queens of the WSL.
I'm 30-time national champion and a member of the U.S. team. I am speed.
I hold the Guinness World Record. What more can I say?
When we're racing, they're pretty close. But when we're standing still, they don't even compare.
They're thrill seekers who live for the rush of putting the pedal to the metal. And on the bank track, they only want to be seen one way, from behind.
To start the third period with the score of Florida 13, the California Quakes 12. The women at the front of the racehorse start as we begin every period, and breaking right out is Sydney Zimmerman, 36 for the California Quakes, and that's number 35, Suzanne Shalene, for the Florida Sundogs. Now, I don't know if it's the immigration problem, but we are certainly seeing a more physical Suzanne Shalene than we are used to. And, of course, Sydney Zimmerman can get as physical as you want with anybody. It should be a very interesting jam. Both teams trying to get off to a good start in this one-point game.
Well, you have to wonder if Suzanne Shalene is going to be able to keep up this physical play that she's not used to. Ken, the immigration issues aside, she might be getting tired all the way around.
And the big elbow from Sydney Zimmerman drops yet 2 Florida Sundogs. And now we've got a referee. It looks like we waved off the 1 point, called it an illegal block, so we are still scoreless as Zimmerman comes around battling. That's Andrea Franklin doing a good job. And now the referees wave it off entirely. You see Denise Loden down on the track, and that's Debbie Rice just getting up. There was the illegal block. We just saw the tail end of it, causing referee Sean Corbin to wave it off. No points scored, so it's still 13-12 as we get underway with the second jam. You see Brooke Sunderman, they call her the Brook House, the lead blocker out, trying to spring free. She reaches back, gives the whip to Heather Sunderman, and Kathy Evangelo comes right on the inside and uses her momentum to trap Sunderman, but Sunderman very quick back on her feet, and now it's Brooke House and Evangelo at the very front. Kathy Evangelo reaching back and gives Gina Lombardo a push, and Lombardo breaks free.
And you saw Heather Sunderman go down on that jam, Ken. We saw Suzanne Shaleen for the Florida Sundogs go down on the last jam. The intensity of this game may be getting to these people who aren't usually called upon, but this kind of play is really affecting them as we get later on in the game here in the third period.
Gina Lombardo now held scoreless in the first period by some great defensive play by the California Quakes, trying to get on the scoreboard and build a little lead for her team. And she goes right by Faith Urban. Urban just got tangled in her own skate. Amy Craig goes headfirst into the bar, 2 points, and down goes Brookhouse, courtesy of one of the other Sundogs. Gina Lombardo very quick to put 3 points on the board for the Dogs.
And Ken, Gina Lombardo's not the flashiest player around. She's not that big, she's not that fast, but she has a way of getting it done. And Danny Wolf has the Shaleen's attorney. Danny?
All right, I'm here with William J. Schaefer. Shut up, D'Amato. Sorry, D'Amato keeps yelling William J. Shyster at you. We know this week is the court hearing in front of the circuit court. Posse and Suzanne Shaleen's fate will be up to the judge, Howard Weinberg. What do you think is going to happen, Mr. Schaefer?
We're absolutely confident that they're going to be vindicated, and we think that when we get to the truth, we're going to find that Marco is behind these stench of lies.
Well, I certainly hope in this case that William Schaefer is right on the ball. What a devastating loss to Florida that would be for the Sundogs to lose both Posse and Suzanne Shaleen. Boy, it's on the line right now. Both teams going with their best skaters. It's Debbie Rice and Denise Loden out for the Florida Sundogs, being trailed by Stacy Blitch of the California Quake Bod Squad in the speedster Amy Craig as they come around. This is a close one. It is 16-12 Florida. You can tell both teams want to make a statement right here as they go with their best skaters very quickly. They're able to close on the pack. Let's see what kind of strategy we can see Rice and Loden talking about something. Loden with a whip spin around the ice and a double tomahawk takes down both Blitz and Amy Craig. Debbie Rice goes by one of the California Quakes and very quickly cuts off the jam after scoring her 5th point of the day for the Sundogs.
Ken, there you saw the 2 leaders of the women, Denise Loden for the Florida Sundogs and Stacy Blitz for the California Quakes, taking the initiative. These guys both jam, they both block, and in that case, they wanted to jam. They thought it was best for their team to do so.
Florida did exactly what they wanted, stemmed the momentum of the California Quakes and added 1 more point to the board. This is Lindsay Francis. We haven't seen much of her jamming, being pursued by Jamie Konomak of the Bod Squad. I don't know quite why Francis decided to stop and pose, something uncharacteristic for her. Maybe that's the reason. She felt she could take Konomak down with an elbow, and she did just that, maybe playing a little bit of possum for Jamie Konomak.
And Jamie Konomak always seems to do that, Ken. She seems to squawk and squawk and squawk, and her play is very erratic. I think she tires herself out by talking so much.
And it looks like Lindsay Francis is tiring herself out posing. Now you see her putting one finger up. She's trying to call the play for her blockers out front, but she has to deal with Stacy Blitz, and we'll see how Blitz is able to do a job of blocking out. She has become one of the better women blockouters in the WSL, and you saw the elbow drops Lindsay Francis right down. She turns around, looks up at the jam clock, sees there's only a few seconds left, knows she can take Francis down, which she does once again. No score on that jam. Great job of blocking out right there by Stacy Blitz.
Well, Ken, and Stacy Blitz, I talked about last jam how she can jam and block as one of the few players here in the World Skating League that can. Right there you saw her doing a great job of blocking as Sean Atkinson looks on. She really gets it done when her team needs it. You can say what you want to about her, but she plays, and she plays well, both jamming and blocking.
We've got almost a replay at the end of the second period. Florida was in danger of pulling away, and the Quakes came up big at the end of the final jam of the second period. They're going to have to do it again now. And you see Debbie Rice and Amy Craig, 2 of the respective fastest skaters of women on their teams. And now it's Amy Craig out of Fairhope, Alabama, with the lead over Debbie Rice.
And Amy Craig kind of emerged from the shadow of Debbie Rice when she was injured here, Ken, in the World Skating League. And now that Debbie Rice is back, Amy Craig does not want to give up her newfound publicity.
They're both matched up very well. Debbie Rice 5'5", 120. Amy Craig 5'4", 1 1/4. And they both go down, but Amy Craig is able to get to her feet a little quicker as Debbie Rice went headfirst into one of the support rails around the track. Here comes Amy Craig using that speed to very quickly close on the pack. And right there, passing Debbie Rice. That's already 1 point for Amy Craig. As the Quakes come around, Craig is calling something out. The Quakes try and set up a lift. It was a little sloppy, a little spread out, but it worked to perfection as Amy Craig goes by past Rice, past the other 4 members of the Sundogs. 5 big points for Amy Craig, her first 5 points of the game.
And you said it was sloppy. You said it wasn't that spread. It was too spread out, Ken, but it got it done. And Amy Craig able to showcase some of that speed. And Denise Loden and Stacy Blitch again going at it, Ken. They've been going at it since about last week as these rumors of the romance have added insult to injury as our referees try to sort things out. We'll be back.
We're getting ready to start the 4th period. We are all tied at 17. Once again, the Quakes waiting till the final jam. Amy Craig's 5 points tied up.
Absolutely, but twice we've seen the Sundogs jump out to big leads, and the Quakes have needed fireworks to catch up, Ken. How many times can they come back like that?
And speaking of fireworks, Buddy Atkinson Jr., Denise Loden, captain of the Sundogs, created some fireworks of her own on the track.
Classic play, beautifully done. Spin whip. She does a stop. She takes both jammers out. This young lady runs to the outside, does a squat, and scores. Beautiful execution.
We're all tied at 17. It's all up to the men. Danny Wolf is in the stands with a If You Believe, suddenly patriotic Mark D'Amato. Danny?
All right, I'm here with Mark D'Amato, and Mark, we just talked to William J. Schaefer, the attorney for Posse and Suzanne, a few minutes ago. He's quite confident that they'll be acquitted and allowed to stay in the U.S.
Listen, this William Shyster doesn't mean anything. Shyster doesn't mean anything to me. I am confident that the American way will prevail. And not only that, I will personally take time off from all my charity work to be there to testify against them. These people are out of this country.
Mark D'Amato taking time out from his charity work. Well, that should free up at least 2 seconds of his time. Interesting strategy here by the Sundogs, sending out Sam Martin, the speedster, and Bill Barker as physical as they come. And that's the reason as Barker puts down both Santiago and Slopey. Captain America, Bill Barker, all alone out jamming. Martin unable to get out. And Bill Barker showing very honestly some speed we didn't think he had. Look how quick he is closed on the pack. But now it's big Rusty Montgomery who's rotated through the pack to try and block out Bill Barker. A great matchup here. Barker tries to go high. Montgomery again is able to stay with him, showing the elbow, telling Captain America he's not going to get by. Now Chad Vaughn also begins to rotate back. Now Montgomery takes it back. Oh, the skyscraper from Sean Atkinson takes out Captain America, Bill Barker, but the referees award Barker 1 point on the skyscraper.
And just when we'd forgotten about Sean Atkinson, it might have been Mark D'Amato talking about his civic duty and his charity work. He brings out the skyscraper, and an unsuspecting, unnoticing Bill Barker is a recipient, and the result is carnage, Ken. As Sean Atkinson, you see a good-looking slow-mo of him taking it to Captain America. Well, Captain America didn't want any of it, and he may be hurting for a while after that one.
Sean Atkinson, a 1-jam penalty for interference, goes to the penalty box, but you saw following the skyscraper, Barker slid past Atkinson on the track. And talk about taking one for the team. Barker is able to break the tie. Heads up call by referee Sean Corbin. Suddenly the Quakes out in front, or rather the Sundogs out in front 18-17, and the Quakes are skating short-handed. Down goes Posse Chalene as Mark James, 5'11", 160 out of Fort Lauderdale, breaks free with a great opportunity to put his team back in the lead. Now Posse Chalene is able to get to his feet very quickly, close. Rusty Montgomery sends down, or rather that Sean Marshall sends down one of the other Quakes as Posse Chalene winds his way through, hops over, and looks up, picks up 2 big points, and then cuts off the jam. Posse Chalene now, that is his 5th and 6th points of the game. What a game Chalene is having.
Well, and I got to take my hat off to Bill Barker, Ken. We didn't get to see much of him in this replay either, but he made that play happen as a blocker, coming right off that skyscraper by Sean Atkinson. Did a great job of picking his head up, getting back in the game, and blocking for his team.
And Chalene opens up, his 2 points open up a 3-point lead for the Florida Sundogs. And here are the young guns. Santiago and Eric Slopey, number 13, out for the California Quakes. Atkinson, not wanting Florida to get out any further, sends out his young guns. And here comes Sam the Flame Martin right between the two. And down he goes. Tom Smith, breaking up the double block, and there's Sam Martin trailing. A good job of teamwork. Martin held back, let Smith, the bigger of the two, break up the double block of the young guns, and now Sam the Flame Martin closes around, and you see Sean Atkinson, who had rotated back through the pack, trying to block out Martin, the speedster from Florida, and right now Atkinson is doing just that. Remember, Florida leads this one by 3. The last thing Atkinson wants. Oh, look at Captain America, Bill Barker. Talk about payback for the side scraper. He almost de-heads Sean Atkinson and allows Sam Martin to go by, pick up 2, yes, 3 more points for the Sundogs.
Well, 2 jams ago, I complimented Sean Atkinson with the skyscraper. Then I complimented Bill Barker for picking it back up and having a great jam last time. Well, he won the trifecta. We'll be back after this.
We're back. Florida leads this one 23-17. It's like a replay of the first 3 periods. This time owing to the great work of Captain America, Bill Barker. The Sundogs go to a big lead in the middle of a period. The question remains, can once again the California Quakes come back? A real pattern emerging in this game. Every time Florida gets out to a big lead, the Quakes at the very end pull it out. In fact, at the last jam of the second period, California scored 8. The final jam of the third period, Amy Craig put 5 points on the board. And now this is Eric Slopey breaking out for the California Quakes, along with number 11, Jonathan Russell. And coming up from behind, a little surprise, Gary Lockamy out of Daytona Beach, Florida. A bigger Lockamy and 2 speedsters, and down goes number 11, Jonathan Russell. Now it's all up to Slopey and Gary Lockamy. Finally, Potsy Chalene is able to break free and break out for the Florida Sundogs, but well behind the pack, not even in your screen as of yet. There he comes around. And now you see Slopey and Lockamy slowing up. The double block being set up by Captain America Bill Barker and David Gleddy. Slopey tries to go by first. I don't understand that. Certainly Lockamy, the bigger, could use that size advantage. But there's the reason. Sean Atkinson with a skate up breaks up the double block. Slopey and Lockamy both go by. Potsy Chalene, I think, yes, snuck in for 1. But 3 points for Slopey, his 7th of the game, and Lockamy 3 again. And suddenly it's 1 point between the two.
Well, Potsy Chalene, I'm getting ready to say Sean Atkinson with the big shot. He did not want to be outdone by Bill Barker. We saw Bill Barker get the best of him in the last jam. But Bill Barker and Sean Atkinson have been going at it all game, Ken. I think it's 2-2 in my book in the battle of Captain America and the Yak Attack.
Well, it seems the California Quakes are trying to take a page out of the New York Enforcers playbook, seemingly scoring whenever they have to, just keeping it close. We'll see what happens now. This is Mark James, number 10, for the California Quakes, and Tom Smith for the Florida Sundogs as they come around. We've got a 1-point game on our hands. It's been very close, and Tom Smith does his best job he can of spinning right around the rail, tried to stay on the track, goes down, and now it's Mark James out all by himself, and here comes Anthony Santiago as well. You see the big block from David Gleddy trying to do a double block out, and now Sean Atkinson dropped David Gleddy, and they sneak by Gleddy and keep going, and now Santiago cuts off the jam. He picks up 2 points. That's his 7th of the game, tying him with Eric Slopey for leading scorers of this one. And very quickly, as time begins to run down, California leads this one by 1.
And these guys have lots of guns. Can we talk about the speed of the California Quakes and their ability to catch up quick? It's because they have so many jammers that can score points.
Remember, don't worry about the game clock. In the WSL, the final jam, once it starts, runs for its entire 60 seconds. You've got Sam the Flame Martin out. He sends Eric Slopey into the rail. Now it's Santiago and Sam Martin, and coming up behind, this is 13, Tom Smith, and he does what he did before. He drops down Slopey. It's all up to Sam Martin. The Quakes lead it by 1 as we wind down. Sam Martin with a great opportunity. Tom Smith now back up on his feet. You see Sean Atkinson and Rusty Montgomery back there trying to set up a blackout. They know Martin represents what could be the winning point for the Florida Sundogs as we come up on 15 seconds. Martin uses his speed, goes right by Atkinson. We're all tied up. Now he goes by Montgomery. Now he wants by again. Sam Martin doing a tremendous job. Atkinson with a bulldog takes him down. And now Tom Smith goes down. And Atkinson sends Smith over the railing, but the Sundogs win. Martin picks up 3, Smith 2.
And Captain America has gone right after Sean Atkinson, Ken. They've won the game. Sean Atkinson wasn't going to let it end there. And Captain America is protecting his teammates, as he always does. Captain America, the Florida Sundogs, making a statement here to Sean Atkinson.
And now you see Mark D'Amato having words with Posse Chalane. Remember, D'Amato claiming he has proof to get Suzanne and Posse evicted from this country. INS is on it. There may be some truth to what Mark D'Amato says. I certainly hope not, but Mark D'Amato playing some head games with the Sundogs.
Well, these Chalines, they just came out of a big game, and I think we're going to be able to get some words from some of these Sundogs, as Danny Wolf has the Florida Sundogs trackside. Danny?
All right, the Sundogs win. They are in the mega match against the Enforcers, and this is going to be a strange mega match. It might be the farewell, the swan song to Posse and Suzanne Chalane, and I'm talking about this might be your last game ever skated, not on the Sundogs, but in the United States.
Dan, I don't think so, but our paperwork is perfectly fine, and we are ready for mega match. Take some Enforcers part.
So you're confident the judge is going to rule in your favor?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we are definitely confident. I mean, our attorney is great, and everything is fine. I mean, we don't have nothing to worry about.
How about you, Bill? This might be the last game you ever skate with Posse and Suzanne.
Let me tell you something, Dan. I have full confidence in the United States and their system, and there's no way they're going to kick upstanding people such as Posse and Suzanne out of the country.
Now, I want to ask you, Denise, about something a little different, not about the Posse and Suzanne situation. Let's talk about when Sean Atkinson was laying there injured on the track during the fourth period. You sort of stood off to the side, giving him this odd look of concern. What was that all about?
Danny, I mean, that was just showing concern for a fellow human being. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
The final score, Florida Sundogs 29, California Quakes 25. Story of this one, the Quakes went to the well one too many times at the end. Hawk, Florida was ready for them.
Absolutely. We saw the Sundogs continually get out to a lead methodically. Then we saw the Quakes call big plays, needed fireworks to get back in at the end. They just didn't have it, Ken. We saw frustration at the end by Sean Atkinson that epitomized this loss for the Quakes.
For all of us, Broadway Danny Wolf, Lee the Hawk Rearman, Buddy Atkinson Jr., I'm Ken Resnick saying we'll see you again next time. So long, everybody.